They found it. They found it. The post office found it. Yay! Go post office! Yay! Welcome to Max's Models. I'm Max. Hey, Glue Troopers, Max and Max's Models here. And even though I didn't get any real work done today to speak of on models, I did get a lot of stuff taken care of. First off, to begin with, the good people at the U.S. Postal Service decided to find the missing package parcel from Gaahleri. So I received the Gaahleri Aventus Titan Mist airbrush. This is about a $200 airbrush. And the good people at Gaahleri asked would I be willing to go ahead and test this and give my feedback. Absolutely. So I opened it up, and it comes, of course, with the instruction booklet. It's beautifully packed, by the way, and beautiful airbrush. Feels really good in the hand. It comes with the 0.2 millimeter detailing needle in it, and the option to swap that out for a 0.4 millimeter that's included in a tube, a protected tube. It has a flared-in cap on it, but you have the option also replacing that with a barrel cap. And it comes with some extra O-rings. And the machining on this thing is gorgeous. It's got a very slick action on it. I can't wait to go out and start experimenting with this. You also get two different size detachable filler cups, so to paint holders. So that's great, because one of the biggest problems I have with my current ones is cleaning out those, down inside it, and also getting the bowls cleaned out properly. And with them being able to remove, it's just should be that much easier. So we'll see once I start using it. And of course, I have links to their websites. There's plenty of videos on these out there. So I am really, really looking forward to getting to use this in the next few days, and giving them some feedback and doing probably more than one video on it. So the reason I have my Enterprise up here on this sort of, this is a old AMT kit I built many years ago. I think I might have done a video on it. And before lighting kits were available, I lighted this. The Broussard collectors had a couple of kids' toys that were basically flickering little LED lights. I vacuum formed the Broussard collectors to make with red plastic to make those caps. And then I had it all wired up. I had drilled holes in them and cut out some windows so that it would illuminate. And it was quite the chore. And when I was done, the saucer section and the phaser section all lit up. The front few lights, the ones on the side of the below the bridge, the little bridge cap illuminated, and of course I had another switch for the Broussard collectors. Over time, because what did I build this 20-something years ago? Over time, I guess rust or something set in, everything quit working, and this was not made to be opened up. It was puttied and sealed and everything. Although I have to admit, I have considered going ahead and cracking it apart, but to be honest, I'm not sure it would be easier just to build another one. A long time ago, since I could tell it was decaying inside, I just went ahead and ripped out the wires and everything. So although the lights and mechanisms are still in there, they're long since toast. Although they were LEDs, and I did have I think a little flashing circuit in there so that the position lights would flicker. With a lot of work for a okay result. I'll see if I can go find the video. I don't even know if I was on YouTube back then. So, by the way, I'm coming up on my 20th year anniversary on YouTube. Over 3,200 videos. I didn't realize that. But with these discussions we're having lately with Dan Monroe over at Movies, Music, and Monsters, talking about doing the big 1 to 351 and buying professional lighting kits and all that stuff, I started thinking about what about if you don't want to drop $600 on a model and a lighting kit and want something, and have a 33-inch model, you want something more on scale with this 18-inch one. And started digging around. Well, turns out there are lighting kits. In fact, I think there's one for the Revell 1 to 600 scale, which is 19 inches, an inch longer than this one. And it does come with all the windows and everything already pre-cut, stamped out. So the windows are there. Huge advantage. And then you've got these old AMT kits, and I look, they never really modified the mold. If you're going to light this one, you're going to wind up doing what I did, through the tedious work of drilling out that thick plastic and trying to make your holes the right shape and uniform and everything. I don't mind telling you, it's a chore. I mean, it can be done, but that's some really heavy plastic on these. And this older one also has, this is one of the really old, not one of the originals, but this is one of the really old ones that has the structure, the ribs and everything, that pattern, that spider web pattern framing exposed on top, which it actually should be smooth. Some guys go through the trouble of sanding them down. Some guys get a later kit, and some guys buy replacement top parts of the saucer section that don't have that. And, that all works, but it's either way, there's no getting around. It's a lot of work. In fact, there are so many resin upgrade kits to this old AMT model that if you do get all of them, about the only thing you're going to use is going to be the nacelles and the secondary hull and maybe the lower part of the saucer. Everything, just about everything else gets replaced. There's a real cottage industry in making upgrade parts for these. But I don't know if Dan wants to really go with the big one, or if he wants to talk about having a smaller one done. But I'm thinking the Revell kit would be the low-cost alternative. And it would be more space efficient. But if you want to go all the way with hype, because it's also not as detailed as the big one, because it's not as big. But there's nice to know there's options out there. But the old AMT kits, they do make little Broussard collector things for them, and putting the lights flashing, the position lights and the bridge and everything aren't that hard. In fact, you hop in the Wayback Machine. My brother had one of the first generation ones, and you'll notice the engines at least sit right on this one, but he had one of the early ones with the sagging nacelles that they were infamous for until they improved the way they mounted. And I had one of those also, and I was disappointed. Unless you hung it from the ceiling by the nacelles, that were going to sag, and they finally engineered a much better, stronger pylon for it. But the only upgrades this kit has, it's completely out of the box except for the ones I cut into it personally. And those are, I really put my heart and soul into doing this one. I didn't have the tools I have now, and I had a lot less experience. I could probably do a much better job now. I think I'll probably wind up getting the 1:600 scale Revell kit, and because there are complete lighting kits already made for it. However, if you did want to light one of these, it's got, I'm sorry, I got completely off track. What I was going to tell you guys was my brother had the original, and it was one of the first kits that I'm aware of to ever come with lighting included. Now, what it had was a couple little wheat bulbs that one went up in the top of the saucer section of the bridge, and one went down in the phaser array at the bottom. I don't think it had illuminated Broussard collector. I think it was just those two things that lit up. I'll have to do a little research and see. But I can remember seeing when he was building with the wires and everything in there, and think, oh, wow, it's going to light up. And he had done everything he could to get the engines not to sag, including trying to melt the plastic so it would hold better. They just weren't, they were just under-engineered. And it was a few years, I think, before they fixed that problem. But I just thought you guys might find all that kind of interesting. So I'm still in communication with Dan, see what he wants to do with it. Personally, let's go ahead and tell you the whole story from my end. After he showed an interest in it, I got curious. Well, a couple of you guys sent me various YouTube links, but the best one by far was the late great Boyd Crompton's Trek Works, where he did a 12-part series. And I think he built 45 or 50 of the big 1 to 350 ones. And he was showing you how to light them and how to do it and everything. And I sat through all 12 episodes. That's 12 hours of viewing. And I got to admit, it was fun to watch because Boyd was a master. The community really misses him. And the She Who Must Be Obeyed, Mrs. Max's models, came in and she saw what I was watching and everything. And I explained to her, what Dan had suggested and everything. And she wants one too now. And I was like, you can buy the Tomy kit. And she's like, the Tomy's the die cast is pre-made, but Tomy doesn't, from what I've seen of the Tomy kits, they're so heavy because they're die cast. You have to have two stands. One's got to go up under the saucer section. So I'm not sure if that looks as elegant as one that can just be balanced up on the single post. So we'll see how that unfolds, but I'm seeing a lot of Star Trek stuff in my future. And I got to be honest, I'm actually kind of stoked about it. Um, I did all that Lost in Space stuff that I eliminated, all that work on the Jupiter 2. And my only regret about the Jupiter 2 is that the only way I could get that big one to close up was to seal it, which means if anything ever happens to the electronics, I can't get in there unless I bust the model back open. That's the danger in doing this. Well, I like LEDs. Luckily they tend to last a long time. But I've got the same problem here. If I did want to put this back into operation with the old stuff, I'd have to bust it up. But most likely I'd replace everything. But it's still, you run into the same problem. And electronics, they do a lot of things well, but they don't age well. So the idea of being able to get back in, of course, if I build the big Star Trek ship, well, they do have a removable sensor array forward area on the secondary hull, so you can get to most everything as long as it's not a broken wire up in the ship somewhere. I know a lot of you guys don't do lighting, and I understand that. It can be extremely aggravating, but it is very rewarding. I see a lot of these beautifully lit kits. I'm like, and the thing is once everything's working, make sure you get a lot of footage, photographs and video of it. So if unfortunately it should break and you're not going to get around to fix it, at least you've got, hey, you can show your friends, hey, look, it was working. And so anyway, that is where we are at with that today. And one other thing, somebody asked me if next year, since they're going to be holding the IPMS in Huntsville, I hadn't decided even cross my mind. They say, are you going to go to Huntsville? I'm like, well, that's a lot closer. I'll probably go to Huntsville. I want to go back to the museum there, the Alabama, the Huntsville Manned Space Flight Center. It's the Marshall Space Flight Center and Redstone Arsenal. Anyway, one of the greatest, probably the greatest missile and space museum in the world, and I definitely want to go back to that. So I'm like, yeah, provided nothing unforeseen should occur, you can count on me going to Huntsville. And I'll drive to that one. I'll tell you, the nice thing about driving is you can load up with all the models you want to come back. And then somebody said, are you going to do that other Jupiter C and gantry as an entry? Now, I don't normally enter into these things, but I'm thinking, I learned a lot of lessons building that first one, and I really want to do a bang-up job on the second one. I think I just might go ahead and take my time and build that second Jupiter C and gantry and put it on the table out of Huntsville, even if it's just on the Tiger table, one where you're not competing, you're just displaying. But I just might do that. That's a challenge I'm willing to accept. And so that's kind of got my creative juices flowing. All right, guys, that's what I've got for tonight. Tell me what you think. We'll talk to you later. And as always, model on.